Hello again, my name is Gabe Zollner. You know, I posted MVI 3121, pictures of Michael Brown, not very complimentary. And as one might expect, I've received an awful lot of comments. Not necessarily all in a positive nature. Now, here's an exchange between myself and one of my viewers. And what she wrote was his history, his pattern of violence on the job, internal affairs investigations. And how about protocol? What she was referring to is the police officer that shot Michael Brown. Then she goes on to say, what's wrong with getting both sides of the coin before we besmirch? A dead child, nicknamed, quote-unquote, Big Mike, seems his crime was genetic. Is it possible that the anxiety thrust upon this nation also affects our civil servants in a negative manner? Well, first of all, I'd like to sort of comment on that. Yes, he is a dead child, and yes, he was nicknamed Big Mike. I don't think that his crime was genetic. I think his crime was that he didn't obey an authority, the police officer. And we don't even know if that's the case. All we know is what we're told. And what we've been told so far is that the policeman asked Big Mike and his cohort to move off the road, and they refused. Well, you know, when a police officer asks you to do something, it's wise to do it. And then she goes on to say, is it possible that the anxiety thrust upon the station has affected our civil servants in a negative manner? Well, I think the anxiety thrust upon our nation hasn't affected our civil servants, because it's our civil servants that in most cases are thrusting the anxiety on our nation based on instructions coming down from above. And I'm not talking about way above. I'm talking about 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. The viewer goes on to say, Gabe, if we step back and open our eyes collectively, our militarized police state runs parallel to the Hitler Youth movement. Think about it. I believe many of these civil servants are actually lost, malcontents seeking acceptance among their ever-increasing corrupt peers. In addition, many of these departments are being flushed in the same manner as our military has been. Just my opinion. Well, I can't argue with what she wrote. I believe that's true. I believe our nation is being militarized by 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. There's no reason for a small town police department to have a 60,000-pound military machine. There's no reason for that. You know, and they're trying to justify it, Pentagon, by saying is that this is surplus. Well, maybe they should have planned better and not bought so many. Our police do not need tanks. They do not need armor personnel carriers. Those are assault vehicles. That's what they are. But that's a different story. Anyway, I appreciate my viewers making comments as they do. I am a little bit surprised that I'm receiving as many as I am on the situation in Missouri. All I'm suggesting is that we don't know the facts. The concern I have with the Department of Justice sticking their nose in the way they have, with the Less Than Honorable Attorney General Eric H. Holder visiting with the Brown family in Missouri, I don't know if the truth will ever be revealed. What I do know, or what I imagine, is that the police officer that's the center focus of all this is probably terrified, as is his family, as you would be. What do you think this message sends out to other policemen? You think maybe that them hesitating and acting to defend themselves might result in their death, their unnecessary death? I'm inclined to think that's a possibility. What do you think? I told you what I think. I also told you what one of my viewers thinks. So once again, let me know what you think.